Right, we're actually getting dirty today, and we're doing a few things. We've got a list of jobs to do on the Discovery 4. It's our long-term project car. And we're going to have a look at changing the gearbox filter. Now, this car's got 200,000 miles on it. It's got a full Land Rover service history, but it doesn't look like the gearbox pan has been changed, and we'll explain why we think we know that. We may be wrong. Now, there's some sort of conflicting stories. They say that the gearbox is sealed for life. So this is the 6-speed automatic gearbox. But then other places are saying, oh, after 50,000 miles you should change the filter. So let's have a look what we've got here. So this is the Sump and filter combined. So you can obviously see it's Sump. It's plastic. You can't see that. You can see the little metal inserts, but it's as plastic as you like. And actually, in the inside, this bit here is actually the filter. So this is a little cover on there, but that's where it sucks the oil up into the gearbox, and there's a filter, and the oil must go in through that little bit there, and there's a filter paper in here so that the oil that goes up into the gearbox is filtered from any debris. Right, so where is that on the car? So we've put the car on ramps. We put it into what's it called, off-road mode. We've put it up, so we put it up and then put it up on just a couple of ramps, because in our workshop we've got quite a low ceiling, so we haven't got the luxury, as many of you guys won't at home, of putting it up on 4 posters. And then if you get underneath, what you've got is there's the front shield you don't need to remove, and then at the back here there's another shield that you need to take off. It's got some screws on. The bolts are a bit of a pain. One of them we had to drill out. They go into these little metal clips and they don't work very well. Okay, and what you've got to do, you can see quite clearly here this ribbed plastic. Now, they did replace these with a metal one that had a separate filter. Now, you can't remove this Sump. There's not enough room to come down here before it hits this exhaust and cross member. And even if you remove this cross member, there's another one I'll show you from the other side. So it's easier to actually break off that little spout that we saw coming out. And the new one we've got coming, we haven't got it yet, has got a separate filter, so you can put the filter up and then put the Sump, and it's metal. So most ones that have had the service done or the change done, this will be replaced by metal. So what have we got to do? So this cross member here is held in with 2 bolts at this end. You can see I've got the socket on one. Okay, and then over by the exhaust here, there's 2 bolts here. So we've taken these out, or we haven't taken them out, we've taken the nuts off them, and we're now going to support the back of the gearbox, and we're going to take the cross member out, and there's also a gearbox mount. So if you can slide underneath here with me. Sorry about this isn't a great action-packed video. You'll see here we've got this bolt here that goes through this gearbox mount, this rubber gearbox mount at the back. I was talking about another cross member, the main cross member that the wishbones are that's attached to welded to the chassis. You can't remove this one. There's not enough clearance here to get that down, to get that tube out. It's impossible. So we are going to undo these bolts, and then we're going to lower it down and we're going to crack it off, but we'll come back and join you before that. Now I just wanted to show you the state of play before we remove this cross member. So we've supported the gearbox at the back there on a bit of wood on a jack, as you can see. We've now got the cross member off. So the cross member went from these holes here across there to that bracket there. And now we've got as much access as we're going to get in this Sump off. Let me just show you quickly. This is the cross member we've taken off. It's often easier to see what you're doing if you can see what the part is you're taking off. So it's got these 2 bolts at each end. It's got the centre gearbox mount here. That nut's captive on that side, or sort of captive. One thing to watch is there is a little pump there. It's the auxiliary on our car. If you've got the auxiliary fuel burning heater, and there's a little 10mm. So as you let it down, have a 10mm socket ready just to take that off, because there's a pump on some wires that you want to get off. And there's the mount the other side. So it's not that difficult so far. Now we're going to get and undo the bolts. Actually, we're going to drain the first thing we'll do is drain the Sump. So there is a Sump drain plug at the back here. So we'll get that out and we'll start draining that. because that'll hopefully make it a little less messy. And then we'll go around and undo these. Now the ones that are going to be tricky are the ones that are at the front there under this cross member, but we'll report back and see how tricky that is. Right, so we're all ready to drain the oil, so we're going to go on this little sump plug here. And it makes this ratcheting noise. There must be something in the plastic. Is there some feature on that?
I think it's meant to be like a
anti-loss.
Anti-slip, anti-undo.
It's all a bit plastic, isn't it?
Yeah, probably, so you don't have to
Right,
talk it
let's
as
watch
much.
Ian get oil all over himself. Apparently this stuff's super thin, isn't it? An orange. Oh. There we go. It is a bit of a sort of orangey colour. It doesn't look that bad, does it? I don't know. Can we tell?
It's fairly clear. It's not completely black.
No. So we're going to let that drain. Now what we're doing is we're going to measure it. Now, some people have said, well, the guy that owns the garage next door. Oh, it's going all slurpy. Right then. You can get your gearbox flushed, because obviously when you drain it you only get a certain amount of your gearbox. Now the capacity of this gearbox is 10 litres, and he reckoned we'd only drain about 3 out of it doing it this way. So we're going to measure what we take out. But the guys that he took it through, they did a super flush. What they do apparently is there's an oil cooler on the front, so I'm under the front of the car here. There we go, there's the front, look. And we've got the front sump guard removed. Now apparently this is a heat exchanger, so it must exchange water going through some of the plates and the gearbox oil going through the others. And apparently if you take off these connections, or we might try this, they put a pump in line, so they sort of suck it in, pump it round, then it goes round a loop. But what I might try is I might try putting an airline in one of these and see if we can just sort of push some more oil out. But we'll give that a go. But we've got a bit of a mess to clear up, and then we're going to undo the sump bolts. So we'll join you when we've undone the sump bolts. Okay, so how long's it been? We've had lunch, haven't we? What's that?
Half hour at least. It stopped dripping.
It stopped dripping. There's nothing coming out. There's not even a. So we're going to whip out the oil drain tray there, and then we're going to. Oh, just had a little flurry. Look, what happened there? You just put in the put the stopper in, and let's have a look. Right, while Ian's dragging that out, we've made this measuring bucket, because we want to get our nice measuring jug, and we're going to see how many litres we get out of here. So this is proper like Blue Peter style. How are you going to do that? You're going to open that in? Not doing it yet. So we might get a better look at what it's like in the bucket as well. See if there's any bits floating on it. Will the metal bits float, or will they go to the bottom? Oh, it looks a bit grimy in there, doesn't it?
We are suspicious of this, that it's never been changed.
Yeah, 200,000 miles. That's a fair few kilometres, isn't it? Right, so Tom reckoned we wouldn't get any more than 3 out. So right, you're going to have to get your... So let's see if we can work out.
Oh,
so we got 4.
Outside in.
No, that ain't working. We can see from the outside.
Over 4.
We're over 4. Yeah, we can see that on the camera, yeah. So we've got over 4. Now apparently the capacity's 10. So the question is, how do you get the other... I mean, you can just change it all there, take the sump off, but obviously what you'll end up with is a blend of old and new oil in your gearbox. And some people say, well, you do that 3 times, it sort of average it out. But anyway, we'll have a go. What should we do next?
We're going to try that oil cooler and see what...
Yeah, we'll try and disconnect this oil cooler at the front. We'll see if we can get that and put an airline on and see what we get out that way. Okay, so we're under the car and we're going to have a go at disconnecting the oil. So you've got 4 connections on here. The rubber hoses, the bigger ones at the top are the water connection for the plate heating. The ones at the bottom with these plastic sort of push fittings. What you're going to do is push that ring backwards into that, towards that metal fitting. So we had a little technique. It's quite hard to sort of do, but
we think ours are pretty jammed up with mud.
Yeah, loads of mud came out, caked out. So you just gently put the pliers against the face and then give a little tap. It sort of, you can see all the dirt coming out. It seems to force that ring back against it. And once the ring's sort of back, you should be able to get hold of the pipe and give the pipe a bit of a turn. That's right, see it's jammed come back now. You now try and get on the pipe.
Wiggle it then.
Wiggle it. Yeah. Can you get your hands around and give that a twist?
I think that first one's easier.
That first one's easier, yeah.
Is that back there?
Yeah, that's back. Ish.
Just give that
That's it. There he goes, right. Right, and then oil's going to come out of here. So there we go. We got oil coming out of the cooler. So we're going to... Now in theory, we might only need to remove one. Because if we push the air hose in that one, it'll just come out the other end, won't it? We've broken the thing. We'll have a go with the air hose, we'll see what happens. So what we've done is remove these two connections here. Now this pipe here, which was the one that was connected on the one on the, as we're looking at the front of the car on the right hand side, so UK passenger side, that one you can't blow in that seems to have a valve in it. But this other one here, so the one that was on the driver's side, if we put air in here and blow it in here, we get a load of oil coming out the front. I don't know if you can see that on the video there. And we're going to see how much oil we can get out by doing that. The other thing we did was we used air to push the...
So if you stop blowing, you see oil stop straight away. As soon as you start it again, starts flowing again.
The only other thing we did was we flushed out, we also put the airline in one end of the, and there's quite a lot of gritty, horrible oil came out of the actual heat exchanger. It's in a low point in the system. But just be careful because it does come out a little bit whoosh, there. So we're going to do that and we're going to see how much with all the oil we've got out of the heat exchanger and out by blowing it and seeing how close we are to the total 10 litres. I don't think we'll get another litre out of it, but at least we'll get a little bit more. Okay, so we've got the sump loose, as you can see, the gearbox sump loose, but you can't get it out because there's this pipe. So what I've got here is a hacksaw blade, don't know if you can see that, yep. And I'm going in and you can feel it. Let's see if I can find the cut I started. There you go, there's a cut I started.
You've got to be careful when you're doing this, because we're still getting oil out of it.
Right, something's gone. Right, so, have I cut it? Oh yeah, look. Something's happening. Oh,
Spin it at 90, don't tip it on
don't
yourself.
tip it on myself. Not on video. Oh, there's a little thing there. Oh. There you go.
Rest it on top of the can. We haven't got much oil in ours actually.
And let's have a little. So where was that pot? That tube's going up into that little orifice right up in there. But that's the. There you go. That's how to remove the sump. And then when the next one comes, we'll show you how to put that on. But we'll put that in another video. That's today's video, how to get the old one off. And let's just have a look in this. Come on the outside, isn't it? So there's the little stem we've cut off there just with a little hacksaw. And there's our, it's not too sludgy, but that's your filter sump assembly.